Open it up for really opponents. Question for players first, please. Players first.
Courtney, let's start with you. Just what was it like being back at Wintrust? What was kind of that feeling like familiarity, but also being new?
Yeah, it feels like I never left, it's just so familiar. I spent so much time here in my career early on, and, it feels great being back in front of the SPAC things.
And then for both you and Ariel, what was kind of your impression of how the offense was clicking today going up against a WNBA opponent?
Yeah, I think early on we were pretty good. We moving the ball a lot, getting good shots. I think maybe fatigue set in. They got a little bit aggressive and we turned it over too many times. We're still trying to build our chemistry a little bit, so there's going to be that type of up and downs during the game. We're just trying to figure it out, but I think this is a great learning experience for us to learn what works and what doesn't work. I think we're going to gain a lot of knowledge from this game.
We'll go Jason, then Chris, then Naomi. Players first.
I can't follow it up anyway.
Courtney, right in front of you. You were talking about how familiar you are obviously with the building and the uniform and things like that, but is it really kind of different too with totally new people here?
Yeah, it's such a weird feeling. Like I keep saying, it is so different and new, but it's also so familiar. Because the Chicago sky, the uniform, everything, the ownership, everybody is the same. But then we have this whole new team and staff. But I think that the right people are here, and so it feels like this is the right place. It feels very familiar to the team that I was on. There's a lot of similarities between those two teams, just different players.
Chris.
Hey, Courtney, you get to play a little bit more with Mel in practice now with some live team action. What did you learn about the ways you can help better her offense, get her the ball in so many different ways? Because she's that's six of evening.
Yeah, I think you kind of said it. Just give her the ball, and she kind of does the rest. She's so mobile, and she has great hands, great finishing ability. I remember looking down at the box score. She's like 5'7", and I just remember those two misses. But she doesn't miss often. She's great around the rim. I think the pick and roll game is going to continue to get better. We got a lot of reps in practice early, and so I think that helped tonight.
Hey, Courtney over here. Hi. You were able to really contribute on both sides of the ball tonight. And I just want to know, how are you feeling physically being in year 15? And it's just the preseason, but how are you feeling being able to contribute the way you were able to tonight?
Yeah, it feels good to be back into like the role that I think I'm best at. This is a big reason why I came here, is because I think, Tyler was willing to see what I can do and how I can contribute. And it felt comfortable. It felt good. Obviously, I'm not in the tip top shape that I need to be in. Like you said, it is preseason, so we have time for that. But I think that with the ball in my hands and being able to play the 2-man game with these post players, it's going to open up a lot of things for us.
We'll go Lisa, then Carly, then Julia.
For both of you guys, just so we can understand.
Okay.
For both of you guys. So we can understand the offense a little bit better. Could you both describe maybe like the biggest difference between the offense that you were running in New York and Washington and what you're running now?
Biggest difference? I would probably say the pace of which we want to play at. Obviously we want to bring the ball up fast, but sometimes, we need to bring it up fast and then get into our sets, not necessarily just continue to push to where we create turnovers for ourselves.
I think for me and us, it's about it's going to be someone's night different. Someone's different every night. We're not going to rely heavy on, the same person. We're going to share the ball, and whoever's night that's where we're going to ride her out. And we're going to need big nights from everyone, because we don't have that 20-point, 25-point scorer. And that's okay. That's how we built the roster on purpose, and just being able to, every single night, it'll be somebody different, and we have the depth and we have the roster to do that.
Ariel, we know what you can bring defensively, and we spoke to Coach Marsh about what this defensive identity can be. When you look at what you guys have done just in these last 2 games, what are things that you guys think can build on defensively, and what are things that kind of stood out so far, and what your defensive game from you personally and then as a team?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that stood out to me is that we're able to really cover for each other. There were moments where it probably didn't look great, but we figured it out. And I think that's something that's really exciting for me as somebody who likes to pressure the ball because I know that I have my team behind me if I am guarding the point guard, and vice versa for our post players, knowing if they have to help that we have their back too.
Good, yeah.
Well, kind of building on that, we talked about this a little bit in
Mm-hmm.
preseason, just of how you can pressure differently on the perimeter when you have shot blockers like Elizabeth,
for
Angel,
sure.
and Camila. What does that feel like in practice now that you've gotten some time with them?
I mean, it feels great. Obviously, we're still building our chemistry. But to know that you have that behind you, you kind of think a little differently. You can kind of go for a little bit more. So it's nice.
And then Courtney, you talked a little bit about screening with Camila. I'm curious, when she connects on those screens, we can see how physical they are, but it often feels like she's maybe moving a little bit into her role quickly. How do you work on kind of that partnership with her as that primary point guard?
I think it's just about the angles. I want her to move out quickly because she's just so mobile, and post players just have a difficult time keeping up with her. And I want to be able to hit her early so that she can just really get into her stride. So yeah, we worked a lot on just angles because of how people guard me in the ball screen. But I think, tonight she was really good, really physical in screening, and she's going to get layups. I think she understands that if she can screen the way she does.
Any more players? Back row.
For Courtney, you're obviously one of the veterans on this young team, and I know Haley in particular has talked a lot about how she really looks up to you. And I was kind of wondering, how has it been working with the younger players, imparting your very, very vast experiences and knowledge of the league?
Yeah, I mean, Haley's great. She's like a sponge. She listened to everything I say, but I think the best part of it is that we can compete in practice and we're going to make each other better. I mean, she plays me hard and she's going to make me better just as much as I'm going to try and make her better.
Good for the Sam.
Conway Winsider, I know this was a preseason game, but for some of the young players, was it important to get a win today?
It's always important to get a win. I think it just, that's why we're out here. We want to learn from it, and but it's always better to learn from things when you get the dub for sure.